From the CAL FIRE Information Center, I'm Scott McLean with the CAL FIRE report for Monday, August 6, 2018. Fire conditions across the state continue to be extremely active. Over 14,000 firefighters are on the front lines of 16 significant fires burning in California that have burned over 585,000 acres. I can remember a couple years ago when we saw 10 to 12,000 firefighters in the state of California, Oregon, and Washington, never the 14,000 that we see now. Over 10,000 structures are threatened by these fires, and 2,000 structures have been destroyed. As you can see on the graphics, we're looking at 211 new wildfires that have started just this last week. Keep in mind, we're roughly average about 300 fires a week that the fire service in the state of California respond to. That's over and above what we see on the news. 2018, 3,981 responses year to date. Burning now, over 629,000 acres of ground. 629,000. Last year, 3,662 wildfire responses, burning a total of 223,000+ acres. You can see the significant difference. That's a very stark indicator of what we're going into right now. These numbers, of course, are quite startling when we put it all into context. It is important for everyone to have a plan for when wildfire strikes, more so than ever. Let's move over into discussing our large fires for the past week. Over 4,700 fire personnel continue to battle the Carr Fire, which is burning in Shasta and now Trinity counties. The Carr Fire started back on July 23rd and is now over 163,000 acres burned and 45% contained, making it the 12th largest fire in California state history. The Carr Fire has destroyed over 1,600 structures, and damage assessment teams are still working to go through and to identify any homes, businesses, or other types of structures that may have been damaged and or destroyed. Fire crews are working in areas of heavy timber and steep drainages that are making firefighting efforts so challenging. The good news, however, is that many residents have been able to return to their homes and their properties, and more repopulation will occur as conditions allow. We have to be safe. Moving south to Mendocino, Lake, and Colusa counties, which consist of the Mendocino Complex. This fire continues to burn very, very actively. The River Fire, which is part of the complex, had limited movement last night, and containment is now at 58%, with nearly 49,000 acres burned, which is good news. Crews continue to use firing operations, focusing on the northern part of the fire, which has improved that containment, as we see. As the River Fire continues to see improvements, resources will be sent to help with the efforts on the Ranch Fire, which is to the north and northeast of the River Fire. The Ranch Fire is now over 225,000 acres and 21% contained. This fire continues to go into the north and south, eastern and eastern directions, threatening several communities. Fire crews will continue to provide structure protection in these areas and work, as always, to increase that containment. A total of 143 structures have been destroyed, and that number may go up as those damage inspection teams continue to assess those areas, as it is safe to do so as conditions allow. As of this morning, the Mendocino Complex is now the second largest fire in state history, with over 273,000 acres burned. I expect to see it to be number one, unfortunately, this evening. Moving down south, the Ferguson Fire in Mariposa County continues to threaten hundreds of structures and is now the largest fire in the history of the Sierra National Forest. The U.S. Forest Service reported that the Ferguson Fire is now just over 91,000 acres, and it is 38% contained. This fire has been burning for 25 days now and has forced road closures and evacuations as it moves east into Yosemite. Firefighters remain committed to fully suppressing this fire and are actively engaged, taking action to limit the fire spread when it is safe to do so. The fire activity inside Yosemite National Park definitely continues to be very dynamic. A little bit of good news here. We've got good news on the Whaleback Fire burning in Alaskan County, which is now 95% contained and has burned over 18,000 acres. and we'll be able to receive some of those resources back down onto the Mendocino Complex. The Wildfire fire has sparked on July 27th and was being managed by the Lassen National Forest and CAL FIRE. As of this morning, this fire has been transitioned back to our federal partners at the U.S. Forest Service. All evacuations pertaining to this fire have been lifted. The Cranston fire is now under management of San Bernardino National Forest and continues to be monitored in all portions of that fire, where there are a lot of mop-up and patrol taking place. The over 13,000 acre fire is now 96% contained. Good news there as well. Firefighters are working to strengthen containment lines around this fire, and there are no evacuations for this fire, but I ask that you use caution if you're driving in the area. There's still a lot of resources engaged in this. If you don't need to be there, you shouldn't be. Also, if I did not mention any particular fire and you're looking for information, you can always find more information on our website at fire.ca.gov. Moving on to the weather headlines for the week. We've got more extreme hot and dry weather ahead of us. You can see on our weather map these deep red colors across the state with temps well into the 100-degree signal in many different areas here. And humidity will follow that temperature and will decrease. It'll be critically low as well. You can see here many of the areas displayed are in the low teens of humidity, but other areas not displayed are in that deep red color indicating humidity in the single digits. In addition to the hot and dry weather, we're also continuing to see poor air quality as so many areas are affected by the smoke being produced by the large fires burning throughout California. I live in Chico, a significant distance away from the Mendocino Complex and about an hour south of the car. Nothing but ash all over my vehicles each day. So make sure that you are taking precautions outdoors during this time. Stay indoors whenever possible, especially if you're in a sensitive group, such as those who are very young or those older adults. You can find the air quality in your area by visiting the National Weather Service's website at airnow.gov, airnow.gov. And back to our forecast this coming week. We are forecast to see thunderstorm activity starting Wednesday on the coast and in the valley in Southern California. As we move into the weekend, it's likely to move up towards Central California as well. That could mean some of the new fire starts in the areas, that means we have more fire starts. We could have fire starts in those areas where it's especially dry from the lightning. As California continues to see unprecedented fire activity, being able to respond quickly and safely is more important than ever. This is crucial for our aircraft as well. Hobby drones flying in a fire area, doesn't matter if there's a TFR or not, pose a serious threat to pilots, firefighters, and the public. A collision with a hobby drone could cause damage, injury, or even death. We need your help. Don't make our jobs more dangerous than they already are. Remember, if you fly, we can't, and we won't. Thank you, and have a fire-safe week.